Welcome to the Spiritual Principles Made Practical podcast. I'm your host, Scott Friedman, and today we'll talk about jealousy. Yay, let's all turn green with envy. So when we're jealous, what's really happening is that we're upset with ourselves that we haven't accomplished and created in our life what we want, right? So we see it as other people having created what we wanted. And that the way to understand jealousy and I mean the goal of everything, right, is to find peace. And so when we're jealous, we're definitely not at peace. What we're saying is that I want what they got. And maybe I don't know, maybe they shouldn't deserve it, or they took it from me, or I don't know, there's a zero sum and I deserve it more than they do, or I don't know. But ultimately, it comes down to we're upset that we haven't created what we perceive someone else has created in their lives. And that's step one, is just to understand that that's the thought, and then look at that thought and realize that we have the potential to create everything within us. And if we see other people having what we want to create, then it's just a reminder for us that we have a desire to create that in our life, and we have the power to do that. And that's really the constructive way to look at jealousy. So I always like to use examples. And one example I'm going to use today is you know what? I would love to have the following that Deepak Chopra has, right? And I love reading his stuff. It's just, it's so right on the money. He's so insightful. He communicates it so well. And he's at least by my perception, he's been able to monetize it and grow it and stuff. And so I'm like, yeah, I want that. But I don't begrudge him that. I mean, I'm happy that he does that, right? And that's good. And I don't want to, I'm not looking to like steal his clients or anything. I'm just wanting to, to create that in my own life as well. And I want him to continue to grow in the audience that he has. So, but jealousy is a lack of peace, and a lack of peace is always a denial of our own capacity and our own abilities. And the more that we acknowledge that capacity and denials, the more we're free of the stress of jealousy. And so I look at, okay, well, what do I do to move in the direction of having the following that Deepak Chopra has? Well, uh, continually just be myself. I mean, the book that I'm going to feature today is that the dynamics of global leadership, and what that means to me, and the way my understanding of all of that is, the essence of that book is that the more that I accept and resonate with what's true about me, and what's true about me is I am one with all things, right? I am one with God, right? Just as you are, just as we all are, right? But the more I accept that and relate to that and identify with that, then the more creative power I take conscious mastery of. And the more creative power I take conscious mastery of, the more honest I am with myself, because ultimately I have the power to take conscious mastery of creating the whole world, everyone and everything in it, as do you. And the more that I accept that capacity and use that capacity and learn how to direct that capacity as I see fit, the more that the outer world creates the acceptance of my inner world, which is I am all that exists. I am the world. And that is the most sensible and ultimately effective response to jealousy, is accepting that I have the power to create all that. And in fact, I did create Deepak Chopra's success in the world. I created it as a motivator for me to accept that I have the power to do that. I created him and his following and his existence, and I can do that same creation for my following and my existence. And in fact, I do that. And just, it's all about just being more conscious and aware of what I'm already doing and the power I already have. And Deepak Chopra would agree with that. So anyway, if you want to share my journey and be part of all of that with me, uh, contact me for a free coaching session at scottfriedman40@gmail.com, and we'll put it together. My books, including The Dynamics of Global Leadership. And again, global leadership is all about accepting more fully who we are. And the more that we accept more fully who we are, the more we resonate that understanding and the more we see that understanding reflected back to us in the world. And that book and all my other books are available on Amazon. You can find links to them on my website, www.thoughtcoachingbyscott.com. So just remember that when we're jealous of somebody, it's just a sign that we need to acknowledge that we have a desire to create that in our life ourselves, and that we created that person and that success that they're having that we're jealous of. We created that to remind ourselves that we have the capacity to create whatever we want in our lives. And we created that person and that reminder already. Okay, let's get to it. Enjoy being the magnificent, the powerful, and the infinitely creative being that we are.